I was always taught at school, everyone should get the same. There's always a sun, always. Oh, yes, we're having a bit of the Stranglers today. And yes, I sound like a strangled cat when I start singing. Hello, everybody. We're going to have a little chat.
Matron, take them away.
And a warm welcome to one and all. And if this is your first time here, I am the singing talent that is Scruff. And on a Saturday morning, I like to kind of put the world to right, grab a coffee, because we all know Scruffy likes a coffee, and basically just kind of address some of the emails I've had or the thoughts I've had, and just switch camera on and away we go. So if you want to see trading in the real world and actually understand it from somebody who does it for a living, but more importantly, somebody who actually proves that they do it for a living, do take a moment to hit the subscribe button. And if you find value in anything I do, smash the like and share it to your friends, because it'd be lovely to see the community grow. And it's really the community that I'm driving at today. I put a little sort of vote up. I'll show you and I'll kind of talk through it. If I just flick this over a second, I mean, I can tell you about the charts as well if you wish. But what I've done, if we just pull this down, if you come on the front page of the Scruffy Trader, you'll see there's a part of it called Community. So if you click in there, there's various sort of updates and everything. But I've put this in because we're coming up to the end of the financial year. I'm in the UK. My financial year works April to April. And I often address new things around this time. I spend March seeing what I'm doing going forward. And I put a little poll up because, as you know, some people give me a lot of flack. And that's something I'm going to touch on. And it's kind of, should I slim it down? Should I leave it the same? Drop in, have your votes, and it's all going to be for you. So what's that got to do with anything? Well, actually, if I flick that back, I'll show you exactly what it's to do with. Just that video there had significantly more views than I normally get. Okay, and why? I think it's because I put that big number on it. Now, if you don't understand where that number came from, I'll show you.
Well, we're waiting.
So what I'm pulling up is TraderSync. Okay, there is a link for this below if you're interested. You will sort of get a free trial and a bit of a discount, but it's pretty darn good. And that's where the number came from. It's my cumulative total, which you'll get kind of in my calendar. It shows what's going on. So there you go. And if you sort of track what I do, you'll see that it's in here. And I've done pretty well this year. Okay. But is that the right way to go? That's what's worrying me. You know, should I be shown these numbers when really I think we should be concentrating on how good a trader you are, not how much money you make.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
And I personally think the money is what holds you back. I really do. I get quite frustrated in some of the, and I'll flick this back across because I want to highlight something. We talk regular in the group, obviously. Okay. And we raised this morning, where should we be looking at the rags and riches, which is this here. It's where we put on our figures, etc. And sort of, are we good? Are we bad?
Good job.
However, a lot of the time, the big figures are not relevant to the trade. And that's what I wanted to hide highlight here. I think it's more important to show how many pips you got. Sort of in this case, I got 50 over these trades. And then sort of state whether you lost or won. Then what that does, that kind of gives a level playing field for everybody in the group. And that's what I want for the group. I don't want to have conversations where people feel that they're inadequate because they're looking at others that are storming. So what I thought was a good idea, and I'll put it to the vote to them and we'll see, is maybe just hide how much you earn and just put on how many pips you won. Because I think if you do £1,000 but you only did a 5-pip move because you've got a massive account, that's not as good as somebody who has a micro account and they made £100 but their move was 25-30 pips, kind of which is the better. And I like to play golf, and in golf, well, you have a handicap system. Well, for me, that's kind of the way this would work. And then I started thinking about this from another level, and it all came from a couple of conversations, and it wasn't just one or two. It was a number of guys in the squad that were getting concerned that they're not keeping up with some of the other numbers and sort of keeping up with myself, for argument's sake. And I'm like thinking, well, how do I address it? And I think that's the fair way. But then I started looking at this video that I put out. I mean, I did it on purpose because I wanted to. The channel guy is dying. It gets very little attention. It gets very little traction. And I wanted to see if there's a way to boost it forward. Because again, this year coming forward, the amount of time I put into this channel is massive. And the guys will tell you, I'm there at 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm making videos for them because I always kind of on a morning, I do a face-to-face call with them. I'll then break down the first trade of the day. I'll tell them exactly what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. And I only trade once or twice a day.
Are you serious?
So they'll see what I'm doing beforehand. And then when you see it and it like says live trade, well, it is live because I trade in the moment and I show you exactly what I'm doing. I do get comments like, oh, I want to sit in the room and I want to trade the same one you do. Well, one, I'm not paid enough to do that. And I'm not a financial advisor and I'm not responsible for your trades.
No way.
So I'm better off telling you what I'm going to do before I take the trade. And then it's up to you what you do. But what I don't want to get into a situation of is somebody trying to emulate me without actually knowing what I'm doing. That becomes very dangerous and detrimental. You should always follow your own trades, not somebody else's. So all of these things run in my mind constantly. And the one thing that I don't want is anybody to feel down and depressed because they're not achieving what they think they should. And I think that comes from peer pressure. They see big numbers. They see, well, this.
You ding dong!
Give it to me again.
You ding dong!
And they wonder, how does that feckin' muppet have all of that money? Well, that muppet doesn't have all that money because if you look at the cash that's lying around, it's not real. It has a little orange mark on it. And that orange mark is prop money. You can buy it for 10 quid off Amazon. You know, I can buy about 100,000 or something. It's just a fugazi. It's shit, you know. And I never want to become that. Trading is my job. I love it. I do really well with it. But do I make $1 million from it? No, I don't. And I stress that. And I think that's why I get kicked in the bollocks all the time. Because I just show you what it is. You know, I can't be any better than that. My account can generate 2, 3, 500 quid a day to push. All right. I can do considerably more. I know I can. But what happens when I do more? I stress. I get into a point where I'm uncomfortable, you know, and then I start chasing the money Because if I'm in a hole, I have to dig out of it. And then that hole becomes bigger. And then the peer pressure is myself against me. And it's not something I want to do. I've been in it before and it costs me dearly. So I'll never do it again. And it's why whenever I see big figures flashed about, I take it with a pinch of salt. You know, I'm not interested in the money. I'm interested in the process. The process is what will make or break you as a trader. But if you're looking for big money and you're trying to follow and emulate big money and you haven't got any, well, you failed before you start. So I know this will get kicked into, as it always does, but I'm telling you straight down the camera, looking you straight in the eye. If you're chasing that, you're failing. Give it up. You know, I can sit here very easily and turn this channel into a full-blown educational channel. I really can. I can turn the Discord group into a massive money machine. I can. But I'm not. And I'll tell you for why. I charge a fair price based on what YouTube told me that they want to pay, because I don't own the membership. YouTube own the membership. I get paid a small commission for running it. That's it. All right. And I do it because I love it. You know. Why? I've connected with some wonderful guys, and I genuinely have those guys' interest at heart. Yes, you're always going to have an element that's going to come in for self-gain. You always will. And they will use what's in there for their own gain, and they don't give a toss about the group. They genuinely don't. You know, they will never make it. They might look like they're sort of flying high because they'll sing, get as much as they can, and as soon as they're not getting anything, they're gone. Do you think they're successful? No. The ones who are successful are the ones that gel in, dig in together. We have some guys in there that are flying high, and I really mean flying high, right? But they help each other. That's the measure of the group. You know, it's so well put together that everybody tries to help. I'm going to rephrase that because I shouldn't say everybody, because I've just said there's a few that come in that are not. The majority dig in together, and if one of them's failing, they try and lift each other up. But also I need to try and level that out as well, so that they never have the awkward conversation in the first place. If that makes sense. Sorry. Maybe he's traveling on. But I want to take a little moral point of view from this. When it comes to trading, if you're focusing heavily on monetary value, you probably have lost.
They've done studies, 60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
Now I'm going to flick back the chart, and I'm going to show you something that I was looking at this morning. Now, in the group, actually, if I put the group back on, I'll be able to show you. Give me a second. Just flick this on. On a weekend, I start setting up what we're doing. Now, I've just marked this chart that I'm about to show you up here fully. Show them how to mark it, and they can see the key areas, and then I've actually started marking in points of attraction. All right, so just so like we're aware of what we're talking about. When we're looking at this, all right, if I started looking how much money can I get out of this, I wouldn't be looking at a 4-hour chart. I'd be down here somewhere going, oh, there's some big moves coming in. I can see it. I'm going to make, well, if I can get from there to there, I'm going to make X amount of money. No. What you want to be doing when you're looking at this is not even looking at the money value at all. You're looking to see if you have a pocket of air. Now, for argument's sake, with this, just to give it an example, we have a strong drive here, a massive drive. Now, I showed this in that video. I showed you how this was built up. If we start to look from a low point to a high point. Okay. We have key areas of attraction that are in this. Okay. Now at this moment in time, if I enter the market here, there are two key stall points. There's one here and there's another one at the bottom. Now if it's pushing through, it is going to come to here. If it breaks to the upper side, it's going to naturally gravitate to the higher point, which is somewhere around here. It's above that swing running into this level. All right. So they're the two major points at this moment in time. Okay. Now, the question is, why is money involved in this scenario? I know there's a stall point coming, which is here. All right. So I'm just going to highlight for a second. And bear with me. Right. That is a keen stall point based on the move. So if this market is going to oscillate to the upper side, because there's probably a high chance this is going to move to the upside in the next sort of couple of days. All right. If I just target this in, just so I can kind of highlight something. Well, what do we know? All right. I drew a fib from there to there. Okay. That gave me the structure of this. Now I've just drawn one in two different sections. This is a strong directional move down between two major points of attraction, which is this and the low point there. Well, what do we know? That stall point that I've just put in perfectly marries that entry point. Okay. Now at this point, what's going to happen is the market is going to chop in and around here. That can scare you out of the market on a low time frame. And why? Because this one's a 4-hour. The 38 marries up perfectly to a key level that I've marked in. So that becomes the target. However, this will become the barrier. What I need is the price to be above this to get to there. Why? Well, if I drop this down into 5 minutes, I'll be able to show you. I enter here expecting to get there. Well, the chances are the market is going to do this. It's going to move up. It's going to hit this, but it's going to come all the way back down to here to get some more momentum to crash through. That's how the markets work. You know, they come, they test an area, they move away. They go back and they see if they've got momentum to smash through. Case in point here. It's come down. It's gone up to the level. It's struggled on the level. Slammed down. Gathered its momentum. Bang. Smashed through. It's a two-step move. And it's a two-step move most people don't understand. Okay? And because you don't understand it, it can frighten you. And it's the difference between good money and bad money. What's that? Well, if I know it's going to stall here, I can stage backwards to get a better position for that smash. If you're sort of worried about money, what will happen is you'll put 100% of market into here. You'll try to get up to there, but this will cause this effect, slamming backwards. And suddenly you've gone from, I've got money, I've got money, I've got money. Holy shit, I'm losing a load of money. What the hell? You pull the plug, you lose your money. Why? Because you went 100% of market here.
Jump out the closet, chop your little head off.
If you control it, put your toe in the water and stage down, because yes, it's going to come here, but there's a high probability it'll come back. You're playing the odds. Now, in that example, what I was trying to maybe badly sort of show you is if you followed the process and you didn't look at the cash value, you would end up making a storming amount of money. But if you were following the money, because you've seen a bozo telling you that this moving average cross works, or whatever the crap system is they're trying to tell you. And actually, I shouldn't say that either, because every system works. They genuinely do. And it doesn't matter what your concept is. And when you talk about buzzwords in the market, you know, they talk about the IDA, they talk about SMC, you know, smart money concepts, all this sort of thing. It's not new. It never has.
What?
There is only one new thing in the market. That's you. You're the new money. You're just the new player coming to the table. How that table operates has never changed. It's exactly the same as it was from year dot. And why? Because what does a market do? It goes up, it goes down, it goes nowhere. That's never changed. It's just the same. You're a buyer or you're a seller. And you're taking the opportunity to either buy or sell it depending on what the demand of the market is. Now, if there's sort of a selling environment, a bear market, well, you're predominantly wanting to sell for the long term. If you're in a bull market, you predominantly want to buy for the long term. But if you're day trading, doesn't mean any difference. Nothing. Because it will move up and down on any given day. And that's why news trading, and I had this yesterday, I did the NFP yesterday. I didn't want to do it. Guys goaded me, but I did it anyway, just because I should back up what I say. And did I pay attention to the numbers? Nope. Do I pay attention to any news announcement and what goes on in it? Nope. Not a bit. Because it will dilute my focus.
Isn't that logical?
All I need to know is what time the event is happening and then watch how the market reacts to it. That's it. And then I'll trade the aftermath, because then I've got some data to work with. Prior to that, I'm second guessing. I'm taking a gamble. And that's what I'm talking about with money. Gamblers focus on money. They don't focus on a process. Get your process right, cut out all of the noise in the marketplace, and suddenly this job becomes very easy. Just my thoughts. Anyway, you tell me. Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't mind negativity in a balanced way. And what I mean by that is, if you disagree with me, that's fine. You know, and you just say, well, I looked at this, I don't think it's right, blah, blah, blah. That opens up a very good dialogue from two different points of view. What isn't good is when somebody hurls abuse, or they just stick it into you because basically they're a dickhead. That's not good. And that's why I protect my Discord group and even the Telegram. The Telegram is free. You'll find a link for that down below. I look after them as well. The difference between the two, the Discord is a true community of like-minded people.
If you're good at something, never do it for free.
Because the Telegram's open source, I do spend a lot of time kicking people out. Because if you're a dickhead and you're starting to let your mouth go, you won't last long. And if you're a seller trying to self-promote or bring in something that I disagree with, you're gone as well. So I try and keep it as safe an environment as I can. And that's it, guys. You know, just be common sense and be civil with each other. You know, none of us trade the same. And why? Because none of us are the same. You're not me and I'm not you. What I see, you might disagree with. However, what I can do and what I do is give a framework for you to work in. And that framework is always your levels, guys. So just like as a parting gift, just remember, get your levels right and you're 50% there. Why? Well, if the price is sitting between two levels, it's going to hit one of them. You've just got to decide which is the better of the two. But even if you're wrong and you manage your trade correctly, you can still make money. And I prove that day in, day out. The money is made in the management, not the system. You can get in on the flick of a coin and still make money. You genuinely can, if you know how to manage the trade. And managing the trade means sensible size, not chasing the money, and killing it the moment you know you're wrong. That's what gets you survival. That's what brings in the big numbers. And then finally, it takes money to make money. You've got a small account, be happy with your small return. You've got a big account, keep it in relation to that account. Just because you can doesn't mean to say you should. You know, you've got huge leverage, 500 to 1, and you've got £1,000 account. You try and put a full lot size on, that account ain't going to last long. So just as a quick one, a good way of working it out is 50 pence for every 500 of physical money, not your sort of leverage, physical money. You've got £1,000 account, it's either a pound or a dollar. You know, if you've got a micro account and you've only got a couple of £100, well, it works out at about 10p or 10 cents for every 100. And if you're using a prop firm, like what you often see me do, which is the 5%ers, there is a link for them down below. I have brought some new programs in. I'll be doing a video on it shortly because I want to get my head around the new. So there's a new instant, a 2-step challenge in the boot camp. Boot camp's roughly the same, instant's pretty much the same. But the 2-step, which is called high stakes, I need to get my head round. And I'll bring that for you shortly. And that's it, you know. What was it going? Oh yeah, prop. Nearly forgot. Work on the drawdown, not the balance. If you see £200,000 or £300,000 account that you've got, might sound great, but that's not your account. Your account is the drawdown. You know, so if you start on a small challenge, I think it's 10,000 and it's 5,000, the smallest one now. It's the drawdown that is the account, not the 5,000, and that way you'll be fine. All right, so drop in the comments, let me know your thoughts, open dialogue. If you want to speak to me directly, I'm very easy found. You know, I respond to every email and even my WhatsApp there. Just give me a shout, I'll talk to you and I'll try and put you in the right direction. So as always, guys, trade well, keep your risk managed, but above all, do what you love, and the money will follow. See you all in the next one.